Big question. Do aliens really exist? Many people think it's virtually impossible that they're not out there somewhere, which means that sooner or later they're going to want to pop by for a cup of tea and a chat. It might be in 10 years, it might be next week, who knows? Maybe they're with us already. So join me as I accept my mission to boldly go where quite a few have boldly gone before, deep into the universe of science fiction and just a little science fact, to investigate the aliens before they decide to investigate us. Computer, initiate warp drive factor 9. Make it so. There you go. That's the trouble with beaming, occasionally get your coordinates crossed. Good evening and welcome to the show we've called rather dramatically The Aliens Are Coming. We're blasting off ITV's special week that will take us into the unknown. Naturally, you tuned in expecting to see creatures with big bug eyes, strangely shaped heads and splayed feet. Unfortunately, however, Andrew Lloyd Webber wasn't available this evening. However, we can promise more extraterrestrials than you could shake a glowing fluorescent tube at, as we ask, will science fiction ever turn into science fact? Are we really alone? Or is there someone out there? And if aliens do come to planet Earth, how long will it be before Jim Davidson tries to shag one of their wives? Of course, if you believe some people, aliens have already visited Earth, and some of them stayed to live among us to enjoy the benefits of earthly existence, like Alco Pops, Harvester restaurants and Tesco club cards. Naturally, if you do believe such things, you probably also believe that Kennedy was assassinated by the CIA, that the moon landings were faked, and that Dame Edna Everage is just a fat old bloke in a dress. But it's all too easy to dismiss claims of alien contact as the work of overactive imaginations. Stranger things have happened. Dale Winton's career, for instance. And although many reported alien sightings are 1% inspiration and 99% fabrication, as we shall see tonight, there are many that can't be brushed so easily aside. You know, that's the sound I hear every time I see Bruce Forsyth dressed as a judge advertising furniture. And when I watch The Twilight Zone, of course. Now, before we take one small step for man and one very, very small step for television, let's just remind ourselves of the ways that alien contact can be made. There's the close encounter of the first kind. That's when you see flashing lights and strange shapes in the sky. It could be an alien spacecraft. On the other hand, it could be the effects of those funny Belgian cigarettes you're partial to. Then there's a close encounter of the second kind. You see what looks like an alien, but you don't communicate with it. Course of action? Stop watching Kilroy at once. Then we have the big one, the close encounter of the third kind, contact with alien life, including that bit when they take you back to their place to be strapped to a table and probed. Before reporting this incident, though, please check that you haven't just spent the night with a very ugly Tory MP, because you see, you've got to be careful. Now, the first close encounter of the modern era occurred in 1947, when American civilian pilot Kenneth Arnold reported seeing UFOs like saucers skimming over water. Whether Kenny Boy was right or not, the incident led to the coining of the term flying saucers, and spawned, yes, spawned, a new genre for the American film industry, the science fiction movie. Unfortunately, at the same time, it was also kind of a glorious thing, I suppose. Special effects budgets were as tight as Cher's buttocks.
Things to come, or flying saucers bent on conquering the world.
See the battle with the warlike Kanagas, driven wild by their superstitious fear of the monsters. See the subatomic barrage. Invaders from Mars, weird, fantastic beings of a superintelligence, ruling a race of synthetic humans, and pitting them against mankind's dream to conquer the universe.
However, in the computer-enhanced 90s, the aliens' mode of transport now looks a little bit more impressive.
know how to use these things?
No idea whatsoever.
Yes. Whether or not aliens have actually visited Earth, they've been all over our TV and movie screens with all the discrimination of the common cold. Over the next week, ITV will be taking us into the unknown, Hollywood style, with special programmes and movies packed with the weird and wonderful. But how do Hollywood's extraterrestrials compare with the aliens that have really been allegedly witnessed here on planet Earth? This is the so-called grey. Glimpsed first in Canada in 1961 by Barney and Betty Hill, no relation to Barney and Betty Rubble, I believe. These are what we now regard as the classic E.T. humanoid in appearance, and you probably wouldn't be that shocked if he turned up presenting Antiques Roadshow one week. Unlike this chap, he was sighted in Spain in 1979, probably after a dodgy bottle of sangria. 3 feet high, wearing boxing gloves on his feet. Let's move on to the strangest starman of them all. Here you go, and I must remind you that these are genuine sightings, in this case of an alien that managed to overpower and examine one Lee Parish in Kentucky, although to you and me it might resemble nothing more than a 20-foot piece of toast. Not so much the creature from outer space as the crouton from outer space. I do apologise for that last joke. Of course, there have been many reported UFO and alien sightings here in Britain, and naturally, each one has to be investigated, no matter how improbable it seems.
Of course, most of these reports are obvious nonsense.
Brother, you said it.
A lot of highly imaginative people, some neurotic, some just plain liars, all swore they saw the flying saucer. Well, we tracked down every report, cross-examined every witness.
And found out it was all a bunk.
So if you see a strange-looking creature running rampant through your local town, how can you tell if it's an alien or just Gazza out on the piss again? Well, you call Britain's answer to Fox Mulder. He works for the Ministry of Defence, and his job is to investigate all mysterious sightings on British territory. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the man with the real-life X-Files, Nick Pope. Nick, thanks for coming on the show. Tell us, what was your job actually with the government? What did you do?
Well, I had a 3-year mission, basically, to research and investigate the UFO phenomenon, to look at all the sightings that were reported to me.
And how did the job affect your own beliefs? I mean, had you been a believer before?
No, I was a complete sceptic. I came in, I didn't know anything about it, I had no belief in extraterrestrials. But, I mean, 3 years of looking at the evidence really changed my mind on this, and I emerged as a believer.
There must have been, I'm sure, though, I mean, you say you're a believer, there must have been a great many fake sightings or people just mistaken.
There are always fake sightings, yes, and most of them are misidentifications. 9 out of 10 of them, in fact. But there's a hardcore 10% that are way above anything we've got in terms of speed and manoeuvrability. And there are some very fascinating individual cases as well. We had a Rendlesham Forest case, 1980. A group of American Air Force personnel saw a UFO land in a forest, and there were radiation readings taken 10 times normal. That was officially confirmed. The Belgians scrambled Air Force jets in 1990 to try and catch something, but it was too fast for them. And I got involved in a case from 1993 where a UFO flew directly over 2 military bases.
Let me ask you about these sightings you've spoken about here, the ones that seem genuine. What's the British government's attitude towards those?
Well, the British government policy on UFOs is basically to say they're of no defence significance. But when you've got a structured craft which has breached our air defences, I mean, self-evidently, it's got to be of defence significance.
And let's bear in mind, if the Belgium jets can't catch it, then we're really in trouble, right? Because I should imagine they're at the forefront of jet technology, the Belgians.
Well, they fly American F-16s, but we fly the Tornado, and I know of a case where a squadron of Tornado pilots were just casually overtaken by a UFO.
Just left them in the slow lane.
Absolutely.
Nick, what about photographic evidence? Is any of that worth its weight?
There are lots and lots of photos. Some of them are hoaxed, but there are some very good ones out there. There was one taken in 1978 in America by a highway patrolman, which is very good and shows a metallic disc-shaped craft. Then there's a very famous picture that was taken in 1950 in Oregon, again in the States. This was looked at by the staff of Project Blue Book, the United States Air Force research effort into the UFO mystery. They could not debunk this picture. They said this is a genuine picture and it's a big craft. And then more recently, there have been a lot of UFO sightings at a place called Gulf Breeze in Florida. And lots and lots of people have taken photos and videos, and some of the images that we've got from there are absolutely breathtaking.
I don't blame her for going to Florida, though, because it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's warm all year round, and there's loads of things to do with the kids, and...
If I was an alien, that's where I'd go.
You know, you'd have to spend at least a winter there. Do you think there are aliens out there?
I'm absolutely convinced that there are. I mean, it's an infinite universe, but I've seen pretty good hard evidence that they are visiting us.
What do you think the chances are, if we ever get to meet aliens, that they'll be rather like the ones that Captain Kirk met, and there'll always be a foxy chick with green skin?
I'd like to think so, but unfortunately they seem to be all 3.5 feet tall and grey.
There you go. No good for me, but the crankies are going to be in for a fun time when they come back. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Pope. There you go. Thank you, Nick. So we might have proved that it's possible to get here, but what would you do if one popped up on your lawn? Would you be terrified, or would you try and make it feel at home, as this lady did on Beadle's About?
Oh, my goodness me. You see what's happened? So this is your energy, I'm sure. What? So, no, you're OK, you're OK. This is amazing. Could you do it a bit louder? Please help us. Let's...
What do you want? How many of you?
Can I ask who you are? Yes, my name's Nigel Pike. Yeah.
What are you doing here? Where are you going? Please come back. Do you want a cup of tea? Hello. Do you want me to sing again? Yes? Yes?
Yes, I think that was a yes.
I believe that
Just ask yourselves, what's scarier, aliens coming to Earth or living next door to someone like that? That's one way. There is, of course, another way to react. Well, that's it for part one of The Aliens Are Coming, where shortly the adverts are coming. Coming up in part two, the millionaire pop star who's the leading expert on crop circles, the stupidest aliens ever, and a kid's eye view on alien life. Stay tuned. Welcome back to The Aliens Are Coming. So, is alien life really out there? Well, maybe it's closer than we think. Recently, scientists claimed that they discovered evidence of life in an ancient fossil thought to have come from Mars. The other planets in our solar system, however, seem to be dark, smelly, gaseous places like Uranus, for example, where, of course, the sun doesn't shine. Did you honestly think I'd do a show like this and not do the cheap Uranus gag? Did you for a second? The machines that we send into space seeking new life and new civilizations can send back misleading information. A probe that was designed to discover life on Mars failed to detect any signs of life on this planet. That's why it was in Earth's orbit. Of course, it was pointing at Birmingham at the time, so maybe scientists... Then last year, and this is a true story, last year a radio tracking station in California picked up what seemed to be messages from another planet. The signals were received at the same time each day, at noon, and for exactly the same duration, 3 minutes exactly. Excitement grew until, that is, the building's caretaker revealed that that was exactly the time of day when he microwaved his lunch downstairs. The signals had been sent out by an intelligent steak and kidney pie. Oh, how they laughed, unlike our studio audience here. But such cock-ups shouldn't blind us to the fact that one day it could actually happen. We could come face to face with creatures from another world. We asked some experts to describe its appearance based on the information we've so far gathered.
Well, it's something with antennae sticking out, and it's normally green. And you see, I think and some of them have quite a lot of heads, and then they've also got and then sometimes in my book sometimes it says that instead of eyebrows they have toes.
They got long things with little ones on their...
Those called antennae.
Yeah, and sometimes they go up to space.
They live in space.
Sometimes it has 4 eyes, and sometimes it has sticking up eyes, like this. And looks like all round its shoe, and it looks like this. Yeah, slimy, disgusting, like Michael Jackson. The only thing that Michael Jackson has to wear green and his skin isn't the same colour. We could dye it. Skin dye. I wouldn't understand them because they don't. They do. They do. And they burp every time. I've heard one go burping every time.
I think what they eat is really... Some of them in my book say they eat. Some of them say they eat humans. I think they eat broccoli.
Spiders inside.
I have some face cookies at home, and I think they would like them, my mummy making them.
So there you have it, expert testimony. But how did their theories match up to the real thing? And how would they react to a real alien appearing before their very eyes?
Oh no, I'm scared. Oh, there's so many of them. Here's my chair. Yeah, thank you.
Hello? My name is Donna. Hello, Sophie.
How did you get down here?
Well, I came on my spaceship. It took about 4,000 years to get here. But we got a bit delayed around Jupiter.
What do you feel like?
What do I feel like? I feel like eating pizza at the moment.
What does your skin feel like?
Well, do you want to come and feel it?
Yeah!
But be careful, because it's a bit fragile.
Oh, can I shake your hand?
My hand?
Yeah.
Well, I can't take my gloves off, I'm afraid, because if the sunlight falls on my hand, my skin starts to get very sore and itchy.
No, but I can, shake your hand like that.
Yeah? How is that?
It does feel squidgy and cold. It must be cold up there. Are there boys and girls there? Aliens?
No, not really. We have 3 different types. We have grey bob aliens, that's what I am. And we have pink Gurg aliens and yellow Gog aliens. And we're all pretty much the same, but we're just different colours. And you're a girl, are you?
No, he's a boy!
He's a boy. Oh, you're a girl.
You know E.T.?
Yes, E.T.
One like you.
I'm getting a bit tired actually now, I'm afraid. But it's been lovely meeting you all. Thank you. Bye.
So, having glimpsed an alien on film, it's now time to welcome into the studio a trog. That's right, a trog. Why? Because he's a trog with a message for all of us, a message of intergalactic communication through the medium of corn. Please welcome, lead singer with the Trogs, the man who wrote Love Is All Around and the leading authority on crop circles, Mr. Reg Presley. Reg, great to see you. I'm a big fan of yours.
Thank you.
Tell us why and how you first got interested in unexplained phenomena in UFOs.
Actually, it all started in 1990. I went out for a Sunday afternoon drive, bumped into this circle, went in, spoke to a few people, had to go with dowsing rods, found there was a bit of energy in there because I've dowsed for water at times and found it. So I knew what it was like to find water, but I couldn't understand the energy that I was finding in the crop formation. And it just developed from that. I mean, I've been out on watches where I've seen actually things flying through the valley, and I mean solid objects flying through. I've seen light that's come towards me. About 2 seconds it took to get from an object to me, so I was seeing slow light, and that's impossible.
Well, Reg, forgive me, I know what a lot of people think. I think Reg Presley was in a rock band in the 60s, he's, you know, bit of the old whatever, you know. Don't know what you crazy kids did back then, but, you know, it can mess up a man's mind.
Yeah, I know that wacky-backy can, but we weren't into wacky-backy. I've never been into it. And in fact, until I've had a few glasses of wine recently, I haven't drunk for years. So I was stone cold sober when I saw it, and I don't care what people think because I'm doing a personal investigation of it. I'm letting people know what I'm finding. It's up to them whether they believe or whether they want to carry on with it in their capacity. I just want to know personally what is going on.
Let's have a look at some of the more spectacular examples of this sort of crop circle stuff going on. Tell us what it is.
This formation turned up by Stonehenge, it consists of 149 circles. And if you say that it took 3 minutes to do each circle, that takes 7.5 hours to do that formation. If you bring that down to 2 minutes, it's 5 hours. If you bring it down to 1 minute per circle, it takes 2.5 hours to do that. It showed up in a field between 5 and 5:45 at night in 45 minutes.
But that is incredible because I think the first thing people would think, I know there was a phase where there were some hoaxes done, weren't they? People going out and they were trying to find different ways of doing it.
90% of all the formations that you'll see are hoaxes, even some of the really pretty good ones. This one, I believe, is genuine. The next one that you're going to see, the next slide, is of Barbary Castle. Now, this is very tetrahedral. This is the object. If you bring that up into 3D, which they can't do here, but if you look at this in 3D, this is what you see. And a man over in America now called Errol Torrent has done some work, and he's found that when you put this into a planet, these points here touch at exactly 19.5 degrees. And when you look at Mars, there's an old extinct volcano at 19.5 degrees. The sunspots come up at 19.5 degrees. The spot on Jupiter is 19.5 degrees. And Hawaii in England, on the world, is 19.5 degrees.
You're getting so carried away there, you've moved Hawaii to the other side of the planet. But...
It is, in actual fact, probably the mechanics of the planet, or free energy that they're trying to give to us in that diagram there.
So you think the purpose might be, it might be a warning, perhaps? It might be a sign? There's some theories that maybe if it is marking out water, that perhaps there are other sentient beings coming from elsewhere taking water from the planet. Is that not the case?
It could be. I mean, they could be using it for fuel, but there's another theory. 3.5 million gallons of water went missing from a lake near Andover. 3.5 million gallons went missing from a rice paddy field in Japan. 3.5 million gallons went missing from a dam that a couple of farmers saw in Australia.
You think maybe they're passing it around?
It goes on and on. I think they might be getting ready to put back the water when we have destroyed the stuff that's here.
But you know what I love about this?
That water will tell our water how to react.
But you see, you could leap to any conclusion, couldn't you, Reg? You could say, you know, they're just a bit thirsty on the way off to Mars.
That's right, yeah. They've got a long journey ahead of them.
I look at them, my first thought was you've got some very naughty alien children with a very large spirograph and they haven't been told how to use it.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Mr. Reg Presley.
Attention, puny earthlings! You are now our slaves. Resistance is futile. Our arid planet is dying. We want your wafer. We have come for your wafer. Water. It's water. It says wafer here. Is that a T or an F? All these empty tanks, what are they for? I assumed it was for the ice cream. Oh dear. Attention again, puny earthlings. We are just, nipping off to check something. We shall return in a bit, so do not move and keep your water and your wafer handy. And don't look at us like that.
Unfortunately, over the years, Hollywood hasn't treated extraterrestrials with the dignity that they feel they deserve. To demonstrate this, we've gathered together my favourite ridiculous aliens ever to spring from the fevered brains of Hollywood directors.
No patrol has been allotted to Sector 4.
What do you think? In my world, I am considered handsome.
There they are, the losers in the audition for Boyzone. Personally speaking, only one film has ever managed to summon up the kind of alien who's convincing in terms of appearance, psychological motivation and expression. Forget Aliens, forget E.T., forget all the rest. Here it is, a neglected classic from the 1950s, one of my personal favourites, Nude on the Moon.
Actually see it happen. The search for a secret paradise where a strange race of moon dolls rules supreme. Behold a panorama of beauty unfold before your very eyes. Behold the secrets of nature's deepest mystery, the moon dolls. Man enters a new civilization. Through his eyes, you will see a fascinating and unbelievable new world. Here he discovers a nature camp on the moon. The endless excitement of a newfound paradise. It will take you out of this world into a truly different adventure.
Okay. All right, so maybe it wasn't the greatest alien film ever, and believe me, it certainly had its knockers, but if you like the extraterrestrials without a bra, then that's the film for you. And from A Close Encounter of the Bird Kind, let's tip the hat to the film that set a new standard of production and special effects for science fiction movie makers. It was, of course, George Lucas's Star Wars.
He doesn't like you.
Sorry.
I don't like you either. You just watch yourself. We're wanted men. I have the death sentence on 12 systems.
I'll be careful.
You'll be dead. This little one's not worth the effort. Come, let me get you something.
joining us now via satellite, one of the stars of the film, Luke Skywalker himself, Mr. Mark Hamill.
Good evening, Jonathan.
Mark, I think the Alien Cantina scene was the highlight of the first of the Star Wars movie for many of us. Do you personally believe in other life forms?
Oh. I hope so. I hope this is not all there is. But one of the reasons I love that scene so much, in most of these kinds of fantasy pictures, everyone's waiting for the monster to show up. And after waiting, I don't know when that comes into the movie, 15, 20 minutes into it, not only is there the monster, but we're just hot and cold running monsters everywhere you look, you know. I think that's one of my favorites.
It's a great scene. Do you believe the stories of the people who claim to have been abducted, the abductees who say they've been picked up and tampered with?
I always wondered why it was that, for the most part, at least in the United States, I don't know about England, but everybody that seems to have these close encounters are, well, a lot of them, at least, seem to be people that live in the Deep South, in rural areas, and, you know, drive potato trucks.
I don't know what it was, but it hovered right over me, and I, you know, scared the hell out of me.
I want them actually to come down right on the White House steps, you know, and meet with President Clinton. That's my big hope.
Well, there'll be a warm welcome for you in the Deep South now. Do you believe the reports from more credible sources, like airline pilots?
Yes, as a matter of fact. And you know, it's funny, for some reason, pilots want me to come up to the cockpit of their airplanes. And it was really interesting for about the first 50 times. And now, when they ask me, do you want to come to the cockpit, I always say yes, even though I've been so many times. And I'm sure it's just for an anecdote later in life to say, guess it was in my cockpit. But I've asked pilots about that, and there were several, I would say, at least 5 or 6, that are complete believers in UFOs. But they don't, at least the 2 that really went into detail with me, felt that they were not hostile at all, that they were observing. So I think that lends great credibility to the idea that there are other things out there.
Mark, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much indeed. Mark Hamill, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you so much for having me.
The aliens are going away for a few minutes while we take another break. They'll be back in part 3 when we'll be meeting a man who claims to have been abducted by them, and we'll be having a close encounter with the one and only Richard Dreyfuss. Don't go away. Welcome back to The Aliens Are Coming, where we've just heard that real aliens have in fact landed on Earth and are making their way to the studio as we speak. Unfortunately, although it was a doddle getting across the universe, they've now got stuck in traffic on the M25, so they might not be here. We're also hoping to have the alien answer to the Spice Girls here. There's Scary Alien, Posh Alien, Baby Alien, Sporty Alien, and the alien with the ginger hair and the big tits. They'll all be coming here to the studio. All right, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, all this alien malarkey, it's pie in the sky. Look to the skies, you'll see pies. No one believes in aliens. They're a sham engineered by the Hollywood Dream Factory and people seeking public attention. Well, if this alien business is all wind and pistachio nuts, then why are some respectable insurance companies offering insurance against alien abduction? It's true, for an alien premium of just £45, you can get cover for up to £6 million against being whisked off in a saucer and treated like a laboratory beagle. You never know, it could happen.
Get back here! Travis!
I think winding up your window is going to help a lot, isn't it? That's going to keep them out. You're still sceptical, right? You still think that maybe that £45 should stay in your wallet until you're more convinced. Well, listen now, if you will, to the spooky tale of my next guest and feel the hairs on the back of your neck rise like Dracula at the centre of a black pudding. These men are convinced that they lost an hour and a half of their lives on board an alien spaceship. Please welcome Gary Wood and Colin Wright. No, tell us what happened to you both. What actually happened?
Well, what actually happened, I was heading out to my friends on the A70 to see Ian and Katrina. It was about 10 o'clock at night. Me and Colin were driving along just chatting about general things, and we went around this S-bend in the road, and Colin made me aware of something on the road. He pointed up with his hand to the windscreen. I was watching the road, and he went, "What's that?" And I'm looking at this object, and the object was floating 20 feet above the road. The road was 22 feet wide. The object must have been about 30 to 35, 40 feet wide at least. It was black in colour. It had 3 parts to it. It was black and shiny, and it had a definite metallical shape to it, this shape. It seen it, I was like, couldn't believe what I was seeing. It didn't conform to any type of aircraft, vehicle, didn't look like a helicopter or a balloon, and just terror, just absolute terror just come over me. I was really, really scared. I felt in a life-threatening situation. I was too scared to stop the car and turn round, so with the craft hovering 20 feet above the road, I thought, at the time, it was good to me. I'll drive underneath the object and away. So Colin was screaming, actually, and seeing the object. I started to accelerate the car to about 50, 60 mile an hour, and just as we headed underneath the object dropped like a shimmering curtain of light, basically like the offset channel of a TV, like water driplets, just a shimmering effect. Then suddenly, I'm not in my car. I'm thinking to myself, where's my car? Where's Colin? And I'm standing up, and I thought, I moved my arm out, so being in a vehicle, I should be able to hit the door. So I'm looking about, and I just avoid the blackness. This went on for about 15 seconds, and then suddenly I'm in the car, and the car's bumping, the back end of the car's bumping about the road. We're on the wrong side of the road, and Colin's shouting, "Did you see it? Did you see it?" And all I done for that spot is picked up speed as fast as I could to get away from this object. I didn't look back. It just absolutely terrified me. To me and Colin, it felt like only 15 seconds it went by. We'd went under the object, then blackness, then away from the object. But arriving in Ian and Katrina's house, we left about 10 o'clock. The journey approximately takes half an hour to 45 minutes. We arrived at 1:45 in the morning, and we couldn't understand it. And I'd never had any prior interest in the subject. I didn't know anything about it. I thought it was all sci-fi, fiction. And
so you're not someone who'd followed this kind of thing in I mean, you weren't someone who you'd never wanted to meet an alien, you'd never had that sort of fantasy?
It was never on my agenda. I mean, my sort of idea was having nice cars and going out to the pub with the mates and films and just the everyday things that people do in life.
You were advised to go under hypnosis?
I saw these small creatures, about 3.5 feet tall. They were grey in colour. And I saw these bigger creatures about 6, 7 feet tall. I was lying on some sort of platform. I saw objects coming away from me. I saw this thing right in my face, and I just started to hear things in my head, as daft as it may sound. And what it said was, I have a life like you, but different. Things happen to us. But what's got to be done's got to be done.
These creatures, these aliens, perhaps, what they were, do you think were they friendly? Were they being friendly? Or was this...
Under hypnosis at one point, I'd actually seen a lot of people. I mean, dozens of people we were getting put in these clear cylinders, and we were getting frozen, because that's the way I felt under hypnosis. I was going cold. I just felt like they were taking us away, and that was it. And then later on in the hypnosis, I went hot, so whether they were defrosting me again or whatever they were doing, but I didn't feel I was going to come back. But I don't know how I got back, to be perfectly honest.
One of the things that I recall is I was crying, and this thing was in front of me, and I kept saying it, basically saying, I'm just a normal guy, nothing I can do. What do you want? And what come out was, the word it said was sanctuary. And, I mean, take it or leave it, that's what was said. And it says we're here and we're coming here. And I've no doubt in my mind that something will come here. I think you're left with a fear factor and you're left with paranoia. There's a lot involved in it. When this type of thing happens, I mean, I didn't want it to happen to me. I'm like, oh, your audience, I'm a normal guy. It wasn't what I was looking for in my life, but it's happened. And I basically want to try and get to the bottom of it to find out why. I want some answers.
Well, good luck in finding that answer. Thanks for coming on to tell us your story. Gary and Colin, ladies and gentlemen. But if aliens did move in here on planet Earth, everything would change, even TV.
Putting up next on the pugil platforms and durable dueling duo on Intergalactic Gladiators, the evil, slobbering, slimy, festering entity dedicated to destruction and domination. And he'll be facing the alien from the planet Alpha 9. The Alpha 9er will be going alpha leather in this contest against the wolf. The hairy one measures up thus. The sublime specimen from Alpha looking totally tremendous. A 48-inch chest above a 28-inch waist, a good 5-foot reach, a tongue which pokes out some 18 inches, and an 8-inch hudong, very rare in an alien from a planet with such a thin atmosphere. Over to our Century 21 intergalactic referee, Jerry Anderson.
Contender ready! Gladiator
straight to work. He's alienated the crowd. Now here's the chance to do the same to the alien. The interplanetary personality soaking up the punishment, building up his power for an electronic discharge. This is his speciality. Mind your eyes. Oh, Wolf's gone. Flunked in a flash of victory for the visitor. The winner from another world shows us how they party on his planet. How's the health of Wolfman? Where's his pugil stick?
One man who can speak from first-hand experience about aliens, in particular ones who look like the little girl from the Crankies, is the star of Close Encounters. Beaming aboard, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Richard Dreyfuss.
Good evening, Jonathan. Nice to be with you.
How did filming Close Encounters change your perspective on aliens?
Making Close Encounters proved one point, and that is that all aliens had to be small, bald, with these huge heads, and who didn't believe in clothing. Why that is, I'm not quite sure. They must have conquered the ecological problem of weather because they always appear naked. And they're all bald, and they all have these huge heads. That's going to be, that'll be a shock if the aliens land and we find out that they have these little trousers or knickers or something.
Oh, shit!
Richard, have you ever had a close encounter of your own?
Yes, woo-woo things. This is what I call it. It's very articulate. Woo-woo things. Happen to everyone. So I have had my own share of woo-woo things, but I've not had any alien woo-woo things or, you know, cigar-shaped things landing. None of those things have happened to me, nor do I expect them to happen.
Do you think that our governments have a plan to deal with the possibility of alien contact?
I would be the first one to call for the resignation of any agency that actually tried to get budgeting for such a thing. And I'll be the first one to write a letter to the Times demanding to know why the government wasn't prepared.
Richard Dreyfuss, thank you for joining us. Richard Dreyfuss. Well, we've covered the subject of aliens from every angle except the one that Hollywood invariably goes for. The threat of nasty, vicious, ugly aliens for whom humans are no more than a tasty sweetmeat or a nice home to live in. Hang on to your stomach contents as you meet one of my favourite aliens, The Thing.
Clear!
Clear.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
No, we're not, and you'll be able to see every little bit of The Thing over the next week as ITV takes you into the unknown. If tonight has taught me anything, though, it's that keeping an open mind is thirsty work. I'm off to the LWT bar for a quick drink before heading home to the wife and kids. Live long, and mine's a lager. Good night, everybody.
Stay right where you are. I'll be back. There's more.
Bringing a new psychic dimension to cult primetime viewing. Millennium.
What do you see? I see what the killer sees. I put myself in his head.
So you think the killer is fulfilling the prophecy?
I might be able to figure out who killed her.
Starring Lance Henriksen and Megan Gallagher.
The killer doesn't see the world like everyone else.
How does he see it?
Differently.
From the creator of The X-Files comes the long-awaited Millennium, Sunday the 29th of June.
Next tonight, Burt Lancaster and Michael York star in our fantasy horror movie, The Island of Dr. Moreau.